LGBTQ community is seen as one of the best in Southeast Asia, naming the Philippines a deeply conservative and Catholic country, most gay-friendly country according to an article from the Times. But when asking LGBTQ individuals how is it like living in the country, the answer they would most likely give is that society never accepted them to begin with. Narratives that is heard about individuals or the LGBT individuals are quote unquote always be a failure, nakadiri, you might as well end up in hell, and sayang. These narratives contradict the title that the Philippines was given. Then they become manifestations when it comes to conversations about LGBT rights, because for several decades, the Philippines failed its proud population for delaying the passing of the Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Expression or SOGI bill, and to an extension, delaying the much needed security of the LGBT community. The lack of policy and action for the community or the individuals becomes a moral problem because the inflexible stance society has against the community, which treats them as outsiders. We will be talking about who is behind these narratives. Why are we having these narratives at the first place? How can we solve it? The Philippine society in the ideological spectrum is conservative. It would stem from centuries of colonization from different empires. The sum of these cultural colonization then makes up what made Philippine society it is today. Second is then the Philippine Catholic Church was founded during the Spanish colonial era. But the root then is in how the church portrayed homosexuality as a mortal sin and how it has webbed into the Philippine psyche. And while these mindset carried on, it has waned. But again, narratives of failure. With addition, when the church was primarily conservative in the past and to an extent the present, solidified the thinking of how homosexuality as something not to be accepted. And even after the statement from Pope Francis supporting the community, there was still hesitation among churches and devotees here in the Philippines because to suddenly stray away from centuries of the conservative Catholic mindset would be repulsive in nature. Is why the lack of policy and action for the community is a moral problem because of conservative and a predominantly Catholic society. These actors are important for us to understand the experience of individuals and why are they fighting for their rights in the first place. Because these actors are the reason why society has been very unwelcoming to the community, and cases of discrimination and narratives of failure are just some of the many examples how grave and alarming the environment individuals of the community are living in. To solve this, the country should pass laws to protect the community. However, how can the government even pass laws that are favorable to the community when policymakers themselves are the boldest representation of a conservative Catholic majority society? With a clear manifestation of the decades-long annual tradition in Congress of delaying the passing of the SOGI bill, without these laws or policies that protects the rights and lives of individuals, acts of discrimination and narratives against the community will continue, undeniably denying them of living because of their sexual orientation. Lastly is how can we then solve the problem we have now? How can Catholics themselves support LGBT individuals, in turn supporting their rights? As Catholics who believes that all of us are made in the image and likeness of God, what we can do and should do is to engage. In another perspective, God created man in his own image. What makes one male or female is through one's biology, one's sex organ. Those included in the LGBT community have these organs also. As an extension, they too are male and female that is made to the image and likeness of God. Next, how can then the Filipino Catholic Church actively become a participant in reshaping society as a whole? The Filipino Catholic Church should actively create inclusive spaces for individuals within its congregations. It can be the form of education and awareness where the church can educate its members about sexual diversity, for example, dispelling myths and stereotypes. Homophobia and discrimination stem from ignorance, and knowledge can be a powerful antidote. In summary, the Church's obligation to support LGBTQ plus rights is a deep commitment to the fundamental principles of justice, love, and compassion that are at the heart of religious teachings, and it goes beyond simple adherence to doctrine or current social trends. Respecting LGBT rights is a fulfillment of religious values, not a divergence from them. It represents an understanding of each person's intrinsic value and dignity as a creature of God, deserving of acceptance, respect, and equal treatment. Thank you for listening.